President Trump taking on President Obama, who was taking credit for the Trump economy over the weekend. President Trump tweeting out, quote, President Trump would need a magic wand to get to a 4% GDP, stated President Obama. I guess I have that magic wand, 4.2%, and we will do much better than this. We have only just begun. Here now is Christy Setzer, Democratic strategist and New Heights Communications president, and Kayleigh McEnany, RNC spokesperson. Good to see you both. Thanks for being here. Christy, first to you. By the way, we look for that magic wand statement. I don't think President Obama actually said it, but a lot of his colleagues did. And we go back to the night of President Trump was elected, when Paul Krugman and others were saying it's going to be an economic disaster. The market's going to crash. It's never going to recover. We had Nancy Pelosi say that the tax cuts would lead to an Armageddon, an economic Armageddon. Then we had the LA Times. If Trump thinks he can get more than 3% economic growth, he's dreaming. These people were so wrong. Why should we believe that President Obama is now right?
I think we should all be pretty happy with where the economy is right now. The fallacy is in thinking that Donald Trump had all that much to do with it. Let me finish. We're in one of history's. I sure did. I've been on the show once or twice before.
Go ahead.
Look, we're in history's one of our longest periods of economic expansion, going on about 9 years right now. As you know, Donald Trump has been president for less than 2 years. So, so you do the math. It didn't start under him.
Well,
it
we
started
have
under
done the
Barack Obama.
math, and Kayleigh, so have people inside the White House, of course. And Kevin Hassert, one of his chief economists, was at the press briefing today. Let's listen to a little of what he said.
I think that if anyone were to assert that the capital spending boom that we're seeing right now was a continuation of the trend that President Trump inherited, then, well, they wouldn't get a high grade in graduate school for that assertion.
You can do a lot with charts and so forth, but the fact is that, as Christy correctly said, the recovery began almost as soon as President Obama came into office. The bottom of the recession was March 2009. He came in January 2009. So the economy essentially had nowhere to go but up, but it didn't really pop in investment until President Trump came in the office.
Yeah, David, that's exactly right. Let's be clear. President Obama oversaw the slowest economic recovery since World War II. Those are the facts. $17,000 is what the average worker lost because of how slow that recovery was. When President Trump came in, there was a sea change in the economic winds. And Kevin Hassett today showed 8 charts that are undeniable. Those are facts that business investment was going down, then it went up. Capital orders and shipment was going down, then it went up. Small business optimism was going down, went up when President Trump came into office. The facts are undeniable. I understand, though, my colleagues on the left wanting to take credit for this economy. It's a pretty good one to have under your plate.
It's a great economy. I don't think many people would disagree. But, Christy, the bottom line is when President Obama came into office, even though we were in a recession, he raised taxes and increased regulations enormously. That had never been done in my lifetime. When coming into a recession, a president usually makes it easier to do business, not more difficult. When Trump came into office, he lowered regulations dramatically, and he got taxes to come down. Can't you see that policy difference is significant with regard to growth?
I think it's hard to argue with the results that they got, though. I mean, again, to go back to 2009.
The result is we're now over 4%, and with Obama, we never got over 3%.
Yeah, that's actually not true, and we'd been over 4% with Reagan and other presidents. I think that, this is going to shock you, but that, again, Donald Trump likes to take credit even for things that weren't all of his doing. And so if you look at the numbers, it actually tells a very different tale. The last couple of years of Barack Obama's presidency, we were creating about 200,000 jobs a month.
That's my point, Christy.
Slightly less than that.
Matter.
I'm not sure that they do, and that is my point, actually.
Wow,
is that,
okay.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure that there's any
policy.
But I'm not sure that there's any policy that Donald Trump has implemented, is what I'm saying, that has actually created a market difference.
Lowering regulations dramatically, making it cheaper for businesses to do business. It's not rocket science. It's very simple.
Yeah. If I were to give one more analogy,
we got to leave it at that. Thank you so much. Enjoyed having you here. Thank you.